Yeah, you've all just wasted your time here for the last 2 days. All of you, you've just wasted all your time. AI is just a buzzword, it is hype, and it is never going to happen in robotic surgery, ever. Thank you. No. This is actually what a lot of industry folk think, and a lot of clinical people think. And in fact, before I came here, people were asking me, why are you going to that conference? It's just hype and nonsense and rubbish. There's going to be no AI in anything. But maybe they don't know what we've seen over the last 2 days, which is there's a lot of applications already used in and around surgical robotics. But it's not just surgical robotics. And again, I know it's a lot of surgeons in here, but there's other health robotics. So I found out this week that Vitestro is an automatic, fully autonomous, AI-driven blood draw device for phlebology. And I said to them, wow, Ai2m, this is amazing. That's the name of the CEO. I said, Ai2m, this is amazing. You know, how far are you along? He said, we're in several clinics in the Netherlands and we're in several pharmacies. This is like here and now. XCath. XCath is to do stroke thrombectomy at distance using autonomy and AI. Lupin Dental is a fully autonomous dental robot that does fully autonomous dental aesthetics. This is here and now. I was at LSI this week in Portugal, and if you're in academia and you've never been to something like LSI, you need to get to these places. There were over 200 startups there with all the VCs and all the PEs, and they all had tens of millions already raised, and they were raising hundreds of millions, and 95% of all the companies there had AI elements. And the VCs basically said, no AI, we're not even talking to you. That was the first thing. The second thing they said to all the companies was, how are you going to make money? So if you're in academia or you're a researcher, you have got to work out how, if you want to make this as a commercial product, how you're going to make money. If you want to do it for the glory of academia, great. But I can tell you, every time you publish, the companies are sat there, and a lot of them have sat there, taking your results, and they're turning them into products, and they're going to make millions out of them while you're still doing academia. Just saying, okay? Come back to soft tissue robotics. We've already seen over these last 2 days, advanced vision, instrument detection, all the things that are sort of clinician-facing we've seen. But there's a load of stuff that's going on with AI and ML in the design, the iteration, the reiteration, and I'll show you some of that. Predictive maintenance, fleet management. Here's my first disclaimer. Don't believe what companies say they can do, and don't trust what companies say they can't do. They're all lying to you in most ways. And that's because they want to protect what they've got, and they'll want you to tell them what you've got. Okay, so what I'm going to show you in the next few slides, not what I'm saying, it's what they're saying. Okay? We saw this from Andrew and his team. This was in 2022. I sat in a meeting when this went up, and the person next to me said, not in my lifetime. It's 2024, so that's only 2 years later, and already we're starting to see companies out there commercially, either nascent, I'm going to say we are nascent in this in a commercial way, but Intuitive is doing segmentation. We've seen that over the last 2 days. They've shown it. They've not shown you everything they've got and everything they've got coming. We'll talk a little bit about that. You've got Touch from Medtronic, who's releasing updates all the time on their video. You've got kinematic data going in. You've got Theator. You've got the black box company here. Everyone's starting to do segmentation and starting to present back some help as well. Intuitive, for example, they're using AI and ML all throughout in different aspects, but insights for surgeons are coming through this. OR efficiency, they care. So if you're there making a really great little app in your academia thinking about OR efficiency, they're on it. Several companies are on it. In fact, there were 20 companies at LSI who were on it. Probably got about 10 million each. So unless your grant's around 10 million, you're not really going to compete with them. Okay? So one thing I will suggest, and I'll say this at the end of the presentation as well, if you're in a research lab somewhere, get out your lab. Go and see the commercial people, the finance people, and find out what the hell's going on out there. Because if you think you're going to be making a commercial product, there's a lot of companies out there already doing this. Intuitive don't just use it for clinician facing, they've got like 99% uptime of their systems. How do they get to there? Great design, of course, great product, of course, but they have ML going in the background all the time, predictive maintenance. Oh, this arm's a bit wobbly, let's go and make sure an engineer goes to it before it falls over. Then you've got even other stuff that some of you may or may not be aware of. They have Ion. J&J has Monarch. I will say that J&J's got Monarch as well. But they've got things like plan point navigation that uses machine learning so that from CT scans, they get guided navigation. It's a lung robot. It's a robot that basically does bronchoscopy that will go through the lung, and the ML will give you a guided way. And when you go in to do the procedure, it gives you basically a GPS map to go there. They are doing it. And they're presenting it back in really, really nice formats. That's the other thing. If you're in academia, make these things look pretty easy to understand. This is what commercial companies are very good at, and this is what you're competing with. So they're already throwing this stuff back to you in really nice formats. Carl Storz just bought a Census, as you may have heard, which is the Senhance robot. They also bought in there the intelligent surgical unit. That kind of went under the radar. Go and take a look at it. Very nascent today, can't do a huge amount today, but they're going to give you real-time data as you're in the operation with their robots, and Carl Storz will take that into their laparoscopic towers, of course, and it'll give you real insights as they go along. Medtronic has touch surgery, and again, they're about giving you targeted improvements. And this is going to be fast because this is all software. Okay? You think of things like the robots and they take 10, 15 years. The software has iterations in really fast spins. We've seen lots of smarter vision. We've had NVIDIA here talking about that. And we talked about edge computing and the amount of compute power being thrown into systems. They are preparing to launch features you won't believe. And they'll be saying to you, oh no, of course we're not quite ready for that yet. Please tell us more of your research. Just be careful, please. I've been in industry 35 years and I'm retired now, so I'm just telling you the secrets of what goes on in there. But a lot of that is actually now in, and you saw David Noonan from Moon was showing us they're already doing this. And I want you to pay attention. Hundreds of cases have been done. This is not sitting in labs. This is out in commercial cases. Okay? So if you're doing stuff in labs, go and make sure you're understanding what's already out there and that you're not reinventing the wheel. There was a great slide with the spaceman and reinventing the wheel, which was cool. And a lot of the AI aims to help surgeons get better. But, come on, let's face it. This is after 35 years of experience, and this is the graph that I come up with for the surgeon skill sets, and all surgeons are brilliant. Okay, so it's not going to help them as much as it's going to help the others. Now, by the way, if you're a surgeon in the audience, of course you're here. Don't panic, of course you're here. And if you're a professor, you're up there somewhere. So, it's not just benefits for the surgeons, okay? There are benefits for the whole OR staff, hospitals, payers, billing, and people are driving this, and the commercial systems are there now. This is Medtronic's. They look at things like workflows already. They're looking at efficiencies, OR efficiencies, etc. They're working on it. There's lots of others that are doing it. The black box we're here presenting. They're already on this. So if you're thinking you're at the cutting edge of it in your research lab, you might not be, okay? Care syntax, go back to my disclaimer, what they say they can do and can't do, I'm not responsible. All I'm going to say is that this is what they told me. So, they are giving live, in-surgery, perioperative information. The box at the bottom, the green and the red, is clip. The clip's in the right place or the wrong place, live, they're showing this. The other interesting thing is it's the staff assistants. So, they're saying to the staff members, the surgeons in this phase, they're about to want maybe a grasper next. Can you please prepare a grasper? These are the sort of things that will increase efficiency. And they're watching the whole room, okay? Won't go into all of these, but they're looking for things like needles, okay? So a needle that goes into the operating environment, they're making sure it comes back out of there. They're looking for things like who's causing the most infection. And they're looking for operational efficiency, and they claim they're already in 3 million procedures per annum. 3,000 different hospitals are using their system. Last two slides. AI inside robotic companies. It's not just the clinician facing, the hospital facing. They're using it to design the products, and more so redesign. So they'll go and take all their kinematic data and they'll say, actually, the arm could have been a bit longer, the angle could have been a bit better. Their components, when they're doing components, there's a lot of machine learning and AI in the components, testing and simulation, fleet management. all the robots across China for Ai2m are controlled by a dashboard that in real time is looking at every joint angle, every temperature, every movement, and they're looking for when there's a small vibration. They're doing that right now. Medicoroid Hinatori, we talked about digital twins. It's Kawasaki that made this. You think they've not been doing digital twins? They did 10 million simulated surgeries before they even released Hinatori. Okay? They're already out there and doing it. And a lot of the companies now doing digital twins, and they'll be using all this data to do millions, if not billions of surgeries before it goes. And their entire network of the way they monitor it is done through AI. AI is here today in robotics. It's commercially nascent. There's rapid iteration. You're going to see vast things coming out in the next 12 months. Lots of research groups are unaware. Get out your lab, go and make sure. Get out into the real commercial world. Ultimately, I do think, personally, jokes aside, that it's better AI will drive insights that will give us better patient outcomes. That's it, and you can scan me there. Thanks.